Okay.
I'm Robert Cavuto, and today on Metal Rules, we're speaking with Jimi Bell for the release of Autograph's album Beyond that's coming out November 18th. Jimi, welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Appreciate it.
Rob, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I truly appreciate it, my friend.
Great album, I have to say. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you. I've been getting very, very positive reviews from everybody, and I can't, I'm beyond thrilled that they're all coming through like that. I'm so happy, especially seeing it's my first record with the band. So I'm very appreciative of it.
You know, it's terrible news about the original bass player, Randy Rand, and his untimely.
Yeah, 6 months today.
Oh, really?
6 months. Yes, today, 6 months. He passed away today.
Terrible. I'm glad this album is being released and not just being shelved. You know, it's really important. It's a testament to his rock and roll spirit, you know, and legacy that it's coming out. So I'm glad you guys are moving forward with it. It's important.
Yeah, well, we when we got the record deal, you know how that it all came about. It was just it came about pretty quick, and because the guys from Frontiers had talked to me about it, and they found out that I was writing material, because I've been with Frontiers since 2005 on with House of Lords and all these other projects. So it just it worked out well, and we started writing songs very quickly. I had already started sending the guys a bunch of material prior to that, because when I joined Autograph, I let them know that I write songs, and I'd like to present, give them songs, see what they think, and they were all about it. Especially Randy, he was thrilled that I wrote songs. So I started firing off all this stuff, and Simon picked the ones that he really loved and started working on melody lines and choruses, and Randy loved, started, coming up with ideas of what he'd like to do. And so did Mark. So it was just wonderful. And, we finished the record 2 weeks prior to our deadline and gave them 2 extra songs, which is unheard of, a band having a couple extra songs. And then like 2 weeks after that, Randy passed away. And it was just like, here we are, we just turned in all this stuff, and it's so crazy. And Randy played so amazing on this record, like his performance on this record. And I'm not saying this because, it's this record, but to me, this is Randy's best performance that I've ever heard him play. He put a lot of time into each song to make sure by the time he got to LA to record his tracks that he was 100% ready. Mm-hmm. And it shows all over the whole record, all over it. So, the only thing we had to do was we had to add, we wanted to add a special dedication page to Randy in the booklet. So luckily that hadn't gone to print yet, and we were able to do that.
And he heard the whole final. He heard the whole final mastered and mixed.
Oh yeah. No, Randy's the one that turned it in. Oh yeah. Everything was. He heard everything. He's hearing it now. Trust me. He's here. He's on listening to all the interviews and everything. He's smiling. He is smiling because it's been nothing but positive all the way.
Good for him. And it's good for everybody. Yeah. I have to wonder, was this an album that was done during COVID? Was this were you guys in a room working on this? Tell me a little bit about the history of how.
No, it was basically, I like I said, I had sent a couple songs to the guys already, and, we started working on a couple things, but once the record deal came, I think we got it very late. We got approached, we got sent a proposal very late in 2021. So once that got signed, we went full steam. They gave us a certain window we had to have this done by and turned in, and we did it quickly, and the songs just kept rolling out. I write songs all the time, so I had a lot of things ready to go, and everything that I sent, they all loved very much. Simon had 2 songs, even though Simon has a lot of songs, but he had 2 particular ones that were totally completed. that he thought would be great for the album, and that's Slave Tonight and Beautiful Disaster. So those were already completed, and all the other ones were tracks that I had sent him, and he went to town on all of them.
How did you end up meeting Randy? I know that Steve didn't want to be part of the band of the new album, and then you stepped in. Is that accurate?
No, Steve quit the band way before that.
Okay.
Steve quit the band in 2019. This was way before an album thing even came about.
Got it.
I had met Steve, years ago, and then and reconnected with him, and then became friends with all the guys. But Simon, when Simon joined the band, Simon's been the singer for Autograph for a decade now. He's been the lead singer. That's longer than the original lineup. It was even a band,
Mm-hmm.
So first you had Kenny pass away, and Kenny Richards, then Randy, Steve quit in 2019, then Randy, it's been quite a roller coaster ride. But I had become friends with Randy, and him and I just really hit it off really good. We became very close, and every time I wrote something, I would send him an idea and say, Randy, what do you think it is? And he loved it. So we just bonded really quick. What they really liked is when I joined Autograph, Randy gave me 3 songs. I had those 3 songs learned in a second. I asked him for more songs. I kept asking for more. Before you even knew it, I had their entire set learned with all the vocal parts. So when I went to LA to do my audition, I was so prepared that after the first song, they knew I was their guitar player.
Nice.
So it was that seamless. The first gig went off incredible. All their fans and everybody that was there just absolutely loved it, and they all accepted it, and it's been great ever since.
Is it a challenge to jump into an established band and then try to write songs to emulate, maybe to carry on their tradition and their legacy? Is it a challenge for you to do that?
No, because it wasn't really, because I keep that in mind though. It wasn't a challenge, but I do keep it in mind. For example, I'll give you the song "This Ain't the Place I Want to Be."
Yeah, that was
that song. Yeah, that song in particular, I wanted to, when I wrote that track, the music, I only write music. Like I said, Simon does the lyrics and melodies. I kept in mind, I said, I want to bring a little bit of, essence of the old sound, of their old sound into this track.
Yeah.
So that's why I started with the 2-handed tapping thing on the neck and everything else. So, and I believe that we really did it. I think we accomplished exactly that. And, the band, look, you can't just keep redoing the same old thing. A band has to grow. Simon has an incredible voice. He's an incredible writer. You have to grow as a band. You move on. If you change your style a little bit, that's great. It doesn't mean it's not Autograph. It is Autograph. It is. You just gotta move on and keep trying to progress in this crazy business.
Yeah, that song "This Ain't a Place I Want to Be." The intro with the guitars blazing. You did a great job on that. Kudos.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was really in the tradition and spirit, I think, of what I remember Autograph being growing up in the hair metal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's spot on.
Yeah, it was something. I kept it in mind. A lot of people, believe it or not, I even did the same thing in the solo. Someone just brought it up in the last interview in Beautiful Disaster. I do a 2-handed thing in that song, but I harmonize the whole thing. So the whole thing is 2-handed, just back and forth on something. But then I had done it without a harmony, and then I said, well, let me see if I can harmonize this. And then as soon as I added the harmony on it, the whole thing came alive. I went, wow, this is so cool. Okay, so we left it like that. So it's good to try and keep some elements. I've done that with House of Lords too, for writing their albums. You just gotta, but you want to be yourself. You don't want to copy anybody. You got to try and, always be yourself and bring your own, I figured when I joined Autograph, I had a lot to bring. I had a lot to offer the band. not, I don't mean it to sound like that. That's
Yeah, I get it.
not ego. I have a lot to offer. I mean, I knew that I could bring something good to the band, that I wanted to show them that I could, hold my own, should I say, and
That's true. I think you did
and
great.
give them something to work with.
I think my favorite track was "Run for Your Life." It's tremendously groove oriented, so that's a
Yeah,
fantastic song. Tell me
that's
a little
Mark's
about
favorite song. I think that was one of Randy's favorite songs too. We're going to be adding that into the set.
Nice.
We do This Ain't the Place I Want to Be, obviously, but we just also added we just added one of my particular favorites is Take Me Higher.
Mhm.
Well, I absolutely love it. It's a great mid-tempo. I call it a mid-tempo ballad, but Simon doesn't like that word for some reason. But that's what I call it. I call it a mid-tempo ballad. And I think it's a great track with a very strong chorus. And the other track we just added that's going over great is Gotta Get Ya, because that's just a straight ahead rock song, and but Run for Your Life is going to make its way into the set as well. We've
That's
already
fantastic.
talked about that.
Tell me a little bit about the creation of that song. How'd you come up with that one?
With Run for Your Life,
Yeah.
it was one of these things that when I sit and write tracks, it's not. I'll sit and start with a riff, and I had kind of like sorry, I just got to close this one thing. I kind of like had this that down. I started with that,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden everything else just kind of like flows. It's the way I write something. I do it. When I write a song too, I do everything from my cell phone that I'm talking to you on right now. I'll be practicing through my little practice amp, and if an idea comes for a song, even just a little intro head for a song, I'll put my phone down in front of the amp and record it right away. Because if I don't, I'm going to forget it.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to get it the way that you thought of it, because sometimes if you don't record it right away and you go back, you forgot it already. So it's good to try and capture it immediately so you have it. And then I'll start another part. And then I'll put that down. Then I'll put the two parts together. So I record everything to my phone basically first to get a feel for it. Then once I feel I got, an intro, a verse, bridge, chorus, once I feel I have that structure, then I'll come over to my studio here and I'll set up a drum template, and I'll start playing to it, come up with a solo section. And then I just start recording my tracks. I do it all right here, and keep it going.
Are you somebody who's always stockpiling riffs, or do you write for a specific album?
Oh, I got thousands of songs. I mean, when I tell you how many, I write for a lot of different things. I was just telling somebody in the last interview, I love country.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been, but the country rock stuff that's out. So yeah. I've been writing a bunch of tracks for that. I also write very heavy. I've done that in the past for David Wayne from Metal Church. Even when I worked with Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath, I wrote the track Master of Insanity that's on the Dehumanizer record.
Wow.
Although they didn't give me credit for it, I wrote it. I wrote all the music for it. But then Ronnie Dio said it in a book, in his book, that I wrote that song, which was great because they couldn't give me songwriting credit because Tony would have never allowed that. They couldn't tell Tony another guitar player wrote it. Yeah, they had to say Geezer wrote that. But hey, I got a song that I wrote with Ronnie James Dio singing on it. How cool is that?
That is really cool. How the heck did that come about?
Well, I was second for Ozzy Osbourne. It was between me and Zakk Wylde.
Really?
So yeah, back in 1986 or 87, out of the 500 people, or they'd already kind of started working with Zakk, and then I was endorsed by Kramer Guitars back in the 80s, and Kramer sent my videotape out to Sharon Osbourne. Sharon saw it and loved it, and the next thing, I was on an airplane the next day.
Wow!
And they picked me up. Ozzy's driver picks me up, and they put me in a hotel, and I did my audition with Randy Castile and Phil Suzanne. They were in the rhythm section at the time.
Right.
And when I did my audition, Sharon Osbourne sat right there and watched me play because she wanted to make sure that whatever she just saw on the videotape was, was really a videotape back then too, a pre-cell phone and everything. So she wanted to make sure that I was able to do what she just saw in the thing. And then the next day, she set up an audition with me and Ozzy. So I went up on a stage with Ozzy and played about 6 songs. And when I got done, they sat down with me. They said, well, it's between you and Zach. And they took me out to dinner. I went over to Ozzy's bungalow or wherever he was staying in on Sunset Strip. And I met his youngest daughter at the time, Amy, the one that wasn't in the Osbourne show. And then after they decided to, stay with Zach, which was, very devastating, but, it was one of those things. I get a phone call from Geezer Butler. And, it was pretty funny because, you get a phone call and there's this English gentleman on the other line. And he goes, is this Jimmy? And I said, yeah. And he goes, this is Terry Butler. And I go, Terry Butler? And I go, Terry Butler, Terrence Butler, you're Geezer Butler? I'm going like, yeah. He says, I'm putting together a solo project and Sharon gave me your tape. And next thing you know, I'm on a plane to London. And, so that's where I wrote Master of Insanity. And so it's I've had a pretty crazy life. You would need a lot longer. You would need a lot longer than 25 minutes with me if you want to get.
Well, I'm definitely going to connect with you because I want to hear some of those crazy stories. That's an awesome story.
You'll have to. I've got some great ones when Geezer and I went to a castle in England and stuff. So so just get a bunch of questions you want to ask, and we'll
follow up.
We'll do a follow up for sure.
Are the band decided to carry on without Randy, right? Yep. And you guys are out touring. What's that like without his presence?
Well, I miss him terribly. We all do. We were very close to him. We've been very blessed to have Steve Unger come in from Metal Church and to he graciously took the spot to come in and help us out with all these. We had gigs that we had to do, even that were contract gigs before Randy passed. So he came in and did a great job, fulfilled the contracts. And, we have all these other dates coming in, and Steve's been doing a great job. He never asks, he says, hey, am I a member or anything like that? We haven't made any official announcement, but, he does a great job and we're very pleased with him. He's a real cool guy. Reminds me of Randy a lot in many, many ways. But our harmonies are very strong, which is very important. And because we do all live singing, there's no tracks or anything. It's the 3 of us belting out vocals, and that's the way we roll. And like I say, he's doing a great job. It's weird to look over and not see Randy, because especially me, and I'll tell you why. Because Randy and I interacted on stage together constantly. He would walk over to me. We would tell jokes. We'd be laughing. He would lean on me when he's playing. He would just put one arm whatever arm is that he was picking. He would just pick the bass like this and lean on me with his I'm left-handed. I get all confused, yes. So I'm doing everything backwards. So he would just so we had so much fun together on stage. He made it real enjoyable. So looking over and not seeing him, it's strange. But he's always with me. He's always with us. He's looking down, he's so happy. Like I said, he loved this band. First off, he loved this lineup. When I joined the band, he told me it was his favorite lineup of anything that he's ever done. And he was thrilled that I joined. And because I brought, I showed a lot of enthusiasm about it. I brought some new stuff to the table, and he loved that. It wasn't like he had to, hey, do you write song? It wasn't like he had to ask. I was firing stuff away at him,
Right.
And we just became best friends and brothers. And it's just one of those things that we shared a lot of great memories, and we always will. And he, like I said before, he put his heart and soul into this record, and I know the fans are gonna. You can hear it all over it, and the fans are gonna love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a fiery album. I love it too. What
Good.
song? I don't have the liner notes. What song would you say had the Randy's biggest influence, or was, you know, his blueprint is all over it?
Well, that's a tough one, because I know he played great on the whole thing, but you know, there's a couple things that he does. For example, it's so weird. I just listened to it at the end of "Take Me Higher." He does this little walk down bass line as the song is like right at the end of the song that I didn't even realize that he did. And every time I hear it, I go, "Oh my God, that's so signature of something that he would do," you know?
Right.
I love that part of the song. But you know, he's thunderous throughout the whole thing. You know, he's a solid bass player. He wasn't like one of these guys that plays a lot of riffs and everything. He locked in with Mark. That's what bass players are supposed to do. They're supposed to lock in with the drummers. If you're gonna play lead bass and, you know, go totally mental, take up guitar, you know. You know, really, because you got to lock in with the kick drum. You got to play with your drummer, you know.
That's true. I want to be respectful to your time. I have one more quick question for
Sure.
you. With the success of this album, do you think there's going to be another autograph album following this?
Oh yeah, definitely. If things go well, you know, let's put it this way: I already have 2 more albums of material.
Wow.
You know, that I haven't even presented to Simon yet. We have extra songs that we did already from the first record that he already wrote lyrics to as well. Yeah, I mean, we just want to we want to keep going. We're a family. You know, Simon and Mark and myself are as close as you could get with a family. We respect each other, and we love working with each other. You know, we're all older. Like I said, I'm going to be 65 on my birthday coming up. So
you don't look 65.
Yeah, I try not to. If they stop making black hair dye, you'll see it instantly.
I just turned 58 on Sunday, so
happy birthday! Yeah,
thank you. We're Scorpio. You a Scorpio too?
No, I'm an Aquarius. I'm January 31st is my birthday.
Okay.
So yeah, that's going to be the big 6'5" for me. So
happy early birthday.
Thank you. Well, we'll do another interview before then.
I'd like to do that. Listen, I want to thank you so much for your time. It was a fascinating interview, and I think the album is killer. So I wish you the best of it. And
thanks,
hopefully
Rob.
I'll see you in New York or New Jersey when you come out to my way.
Absolutely. I'm right in Connecticut, so you could also message me anytime too.
Perfect.
All right, my friend.
Thank you, Jimmy. Have a great day.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Take care. Bye.